start of the semester. Let's keep the energy flowing. The whole 14 weeks. Studio audience, look at these bright faces this fall semester. Stony Brook, one of the greatest universities on the face of the earth. Second most diverse university in this country. Only Rutgers is more diverse. How about that? So we feel our diversity here. Chief flow. Allie, this is first class, and this is going on my site. Write this down if you want to check out past student interviews. My YouTube site is Terra Firma Nova. I didn't pick that name to sound mean and mysterious. It's just, it was never taken. So I became it. Terra Firma Nova. I'm that way on about 10 social media sites too. So if you type that in, you'll see about 10 of my social. Means strong new earth in Latin, I think. Check it out, these interviews. I post this. Hi, Mom. And my mom never checks out. Just kidding. And I do these interviews to a couple of reasons. Like a talk show. You can relax. It's like a talk show. It elicits discussion. It helps people start thinking of how they want to react to us talking about a theme, jumping on in. And then when I get around, hopefully I get around to each one of you into this thing, you're articulate. You have some way of fielding questions and answers. Allie, I had mentioned, and this is like the last season of that kind of well-written series called Breaking Bad. Very interesting because it is so mythological. Because Jesse and Walter White are actually the same person, really. They're two people, but they're the same guy. One is becoming more monstrous and more Nazi-like and like justifying himself with the logic, Walter, and Jesse has the conscience, right? He's the younger one. Walter is the older one, but this is very much like a Western mythology called Faust. Anyone heard about Faust in here? The story of Faust? What's the fundamentals of that story? Okay.
Man sold to the devil for power?
Sold to, but it's very important. When did this man sell himself to the devil? Called up the devil. Devil appeared in the form of a black dog. Great story. But Goethe made the most incredible version. Christopher Marlowe made Dr. Faustus. It's Oswald Spengler, great German historian, said this: if you guys who are coming from China want to figure out the West, the whole Faustian myth runs through the West for 1,000 years, according to Spengler, because it deals with the concept of destiny. Werd is a German word, becoming. So when Macbeth talks about the weird sisters, it's actually the old German, the Werd sisters, the sisters who are becoming, the witches, which is all about destiny. So Faust, when did Faust call up the devil?
It's been a few years since I've read the novel also, so...
Was he a teenager? Did he roll his car? Did he break up with his girlfriend and he called up the devil?
Older man.
He's at the end of his life. He's been a philosopher. He's sat behind books. He's been a good boy. He's got his PhDs. He's studied. He's done everything. And he said, oh man, I feel so empty. At the end of a life, I feel so empty because I've been barking up the wrong tree. I've been down the wrong alley. He fell. This is Walter White, right? Mm-hmm. High school, who's seen the show? Raise your hands if you've seen the show. It's great. It's on Netflix. It's Faust. It's like 4 years of Faust and Faustian decisions, because largely the show deals with morality. How is that interesting to you, Allie?
It's in a way for me. We were talking about how Walter is like this, almost like this demonic person, and he's getting
becoming more and more.
So, and Jesse is kind of still like reserved in a way. It reminds me of the relationship between Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. Where
Skylar is actually Lady Macbeth, right? Yeah. She sits, I like that scene, she opens up the garage and there's a pile of millions of dollars. And she said, I didn't know where to put this all. It's almost like the part where Lady Macbeth is washing her hands, going like, I don't believe the blood on my hands to get this. You know, so how is, and power...
I see the relationship that way between Jesse and Walter as well. Where Walter is in a way resembling Lady Macbeth at the beginning, trying to like drive Macbeth.
Here, come on, Jesse, show me what you do to cook meth.
Exactly.
It's all about meth cooking. You know, and that's almost like a talisman too. This idea of the mystical soup. It's a bad drug, but the mythical treatment of the drug is like it's the potion, right? Mm. It's the elixir, right? The elixir of life. It gives Americans hope, right? So in the way this is constructed, but obviously it creates these societies of gangsters, and the little actions start multiplying and creating worse action. It's a lot of Dostoevsky. I'm a big fan of the Russian writer Dostoevsky, who talk about there's only gray people in this world. So all of you. You're not black, you're not good girls or bad boys or whatever. You're pretty much gray. You do what you can for self-interest. You try and be nice to your mother. When you have your love affairs, you try not to break hearts. You try not to have your heart broken. You're just moving along like a creature, right? And that's Dostoevsky. But in that grayness of being human, you have these consequences of your action. Tell me, what's a consequence of Walter that's interesting to you? He's got cancer, supposedly.
Yeah.
That comes back and forth. That can be. Later we'll talk about binaries. We could make a binary connection. Write this word down. Binary. The elixir and the cancer. That can be like a binary. Expand on that, Ellie.
For like, I guess Walter having the cancer, because now, like, if anyone watched the episode last night, he's back in the hospital again.
Ah, he's back in the hospital. His wife has said, "I hope your cancer comes back." Right.
So, and the end of the episode was Jesse walking into the hospital room, and it cuts out, and he just goes, "Hi, old man."
And Jesse's thrown the money out of the car,
yeah,
right?
Pretty much. He's literally driving down the road, just dumping it out.
Throwing his millions, he's got $5 million in sack. He's throwing it. See it on, if anyone have a Netflix account or whatever, just see a couple episodes. It's like dozens by now, right?
Yeah, it's, I think...
4 years of it.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. It's...
Kind of?
Name, what's your name again? Liz, sorry, it's been 3 times. I find serials. It's a serial. It's a serialization. So was Charles Dickens, right? I find it interesting because the sign of good writing, you can jump into it without knowing a lot of what went on, because the dynamics, each hour or hour and a half session is its own entity, right? Same with Sopranos or a couple of those other Mad Men or whatever these other shows are. I'm not even big on serials. I do agree. It tries to suck you in. Does it suck you in?
It does suck you in. I watched the first episode when it first came out, and I was like, it was one of the first shows in a long time. I was like, I cannot wait for the next episode. I cannot wait for next week. And then it turned out that it was just a pilot episode, and we had to wait like 3 months.
Oh. What does this have to do with empathy? No bench warmers. What does this have to do with empathy? Empathizing. Why did it suck Allie in? Name. Pardon? Vivian. Chi flow. Why? We're going to pick on all of you dudes. Jump in. It's the way to get you engaged. Vivian, you ain't going away. Offer an answer. What does it have to do with empathy? No, don't give me a question for a question. Give me an answer. No victims in my class, dudes. You're on the mark. Give me an answer. One answer. What does this have to do with empathy to suck Allie in? To empathize, to feel for a character. Is it important? Vivian. Good. I like that answer. What else? Come on, dudes. Ain't no bench warmers here. Get in the game. Name. Chung. Empathy in serials. What is that? Is that necessary? Are they trying to sell us something? Are they trying to make money for the actors? What?
Like you get drawn into the characters.
Right.
But you get like such a deep passion for them.
Like I said, we can't be boring. Boring people die in this new ADD. Everyone's ADD. Is everyone ADD away in the corner there? Yeah. Are we living in an ADD society? Do we have to be all performing monkeys and totally full of energy all the time to get attention? Name. What's your name? Bella. Why? Stan, where does content go? No questions for questions. Where does content go? Hang with the chi flow here, gang. It's not that tough. It's just like react to what's going on. Content. If we're all performing monkeys, if this show, do you feel this show has profundity, depth?
Yes.
Breaking Bad.
Yes.
Have you ever seen it, Stan? No. If everyone's a performing monkey to make sure ADD people are awake, that's a sad society. Content is going out the window. Stan.
Well, I'm not sure exactly what you mean by content, but I suppose that people should be more reflective.
Cool. 2 or 3 bullet points about Breaking Bad. What do you think it's hitting you with?
Straight off from like the first episode, you're getting introduced to like this character who's basically he's reached a point in his life where he no longer is doing what he loves. So he makes.
Well, he's also dying.
Yeah.
We're all dying. We're all dying here. That's existential. So there's a lot of Camus and Sartre in this and so forth. But how does Walter contextualize that? Who's the devil?
In my opinion, it's his wife.
Ah, Skylar. But he meets devils on the way,
Yeah.
but he sort of takes on a devilish aspect like Faust did
Yeah.
in the end. To meet and to cut a deal with the devil, you become a devil. Do you agree? Cool. Name. Eric. Why and how? And why is this interesting? Am I looking at a room full of devils here? Eric.
Well, you see it throughout the seasons how he develops into a much more, I guess you could say, confident character, but at the same time, he's a lot more ruthless. He's willing to do things that pre-cancer he might not have been able to do.
He's got 2 children. One is developmentally difficult, and you've seen the series, right? Yeah, and then the baby on the way. The wife is more or less collaborative, probably less so. And then he meets these ultra monstrous. He decides on the one thing to sell this poison. I saw a special on it. Crystal meth is pretty bad stuff, man. It like rots brains, it rots teeth, it rots lives, that's the elixir, right?
Yeah.
The elixir myth is the devil takes the elixir and sells it back to the public. So is he taking on evil by osmosis?
In a sense, yeah.
So it's very mythical.
Yeah. I think one of the best moments I've had is I work as an extra on TV shows, and I got to work on Breaking Bad.
You did?
I worked on season 3 for like 2 or 3 episodes, and just to watch.
You got busted?
Yeah.
Were you like a little junkie or what?
I was one of the junkies.
We got a star in the room. Incredible.
It was a lot of fun just to watch.
Where did they shoot this?
Out in Nevada.
So you flew out there?
I flew out to Nevada.
Far out,
worked
Alex.
out there. It was a lot of fun because after seeing Bryan Cranston do
How is he as a guy?
Hysterical.
Oh, he's a funny
guy.
guy.
The second cameras are off, he's back to the dad on Malcolm in the Middle.
Malcolm in
It's
the
like
Middle.
literally his own personality. So watching him go from that to Walter is an amazing transformation. Just
And
even
Jesse,
watch.
how is he?
Jesse's kind of lax. I was surprised.
He's kind of the character
Yeah,
he is.
his
right?
his character and him are more or less one and the same.
Did you work with Bob Odenkirk? Saul.
Yes.
He's
Yes.
like a favorite comedian of mine. It's
Yes,
really
it
great.
was hysterical to work
He's
with him.
a hysterical. That's incredible. We have this. Give him a hand here. That's a cool summer job, Allie. Not only I picked you to talk about this subject, but you've actually been on the show. What happened to your character? What happened to you?
I bought.
You seem like a guy Jesse would hang out with.
Yeah. It
His
was
stereotype too.
a little bit because when I did the show, I actually had a full beard and I was about 55 pounds heavier when I had done the shoot.
What season was that?
2.
Who were you? Like one of the guys in his parties at his house or something?
And in one of the scenes, I was actually buying from him.
So you had some speaking lines.
I had 2 lines.
What were they?
It was, how much for an eighth? And, all right, here's your money.
Did
And
you
that
get
was
busted by the cops ultimately?
Yeah.
What happened to your character? Did you die or you go to jail?
I got there's another scene. I think it's like episode like 11 or 12 of season 2 where I get taken away.
Oh.
I don't know if I'm actually on the tape. I've never actually watched the episodes I'm in. I refuse to.
Oh, come on.
I know.
Everyone, it's assignment.
No,
Find
no,
Allie
we're
tonight on Breaking Bad.
Nope.
Yeah,
Because
Tell them how it ended up.
I know the names of the episodes I was in, so those are the episodes I refuse to watch.
Which one? Tell the studio on it. Which?
I know it's season 2 episodes 10, 11, and 12, and season 3 episodes 3 and 4.
Is Gus in these things yet?
I think so in season 3. I don't think so in season 2.
Tuco?
Yes.
Tuco's in 2. Okay, so let's talk about serialization. Name? Yeah. Ronnie. I mean, here we got a serial star. He's been on this serialization. Ronnie, what question do you have of Allie? Like, how do you keep each episode interesting? And why is this important? Why is this medicinal for a society to feel these arcs? There's a thing we'll talk about in Aristotle, the catharsis. Ronnie, question of Allie on how and why. Come on, guys, be on point.
It was a different experience because I've done other TV shows. I worked exclusively for USA Network for a little while. I worked on Royal Pains and White Collar and Burn Notice. So Burn Notice would have to be the most similar to working on Breaking Bad because the first show I worked on was Royal Pains and I was a caddy for the Fonz. And that was absolutely hysterical to work with him. But again, very lax show. Not very fast-paced like
I never
Breaking
saw
Bad.
that show. Yeah, Breaking Bad was fast-paced.
Yeah, it was very just go.
Did you meet? Were the writers right there with you?
No, actually, I met the writers only after the first day's shoot. It was basically the first day on set was literally we were just out in the desert.
Who's the director? Gilliam?
Yeah.
Was he there?
He was there with 2 of the producers, basically just running it, and it was literally 6 o'clock in the morning. Everything gets set up. By 7 o'clock, you're already getting ready to shoot.
And that's where you put the 50 pounds on eating all the donuts.
No,
right?
that was where I lost 50 pounds sweating it off in the middle of the desert.
Of the desert. Wow. This is incredible. Well, I would like you, Allie, to wrap your head around in this play analysis about the contrast with Faust in this series. Give us an insider view. Any other questions of Allie? Liz. Then name?
Yeah.
Joe. Liz first.
Let's say I didn't like it, and I've only seen like 3 episodes. What argument would you give to them to
Prove who wrong? The
the person that doesn't like Breaking Bad?
oh, the good question was.
There's not really a way to prove them wrong. There's only a way to try to convince them to get back into the show. I'd suggest certain episodes to watch that are a little bit more in depth or a little bit more enticing than some of the original ones.
Were you a gray character?
Very much so.
You're like
I was literally
suburban guy
I was literally
who-
background Joe for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
You bought meth, you used it, you partied with Jesse,
That
you're
was-
out, you didn't want to hurt anyone, but
I was very much a great character. It was literally just stand in the background and do stuff.
right,
And the hardest part as an extra is you're not allowed to talk.
right.
You have to stand
Joe.
there and be completely silent.
I mean, it's not really a question about content. I can just what episode you want.
2, 3, and 4.
Okay, let's give Allie a hand. We're at 20 minutes. That's our limit. Thanks very much for the insider. See you on